in measuring with metal, there's a lot of different ways to do your layout. They have bluing agents where you would paint this with a translucent blue and then scratch into the blue to make your line very obvious where it is. And we have some of that, but for us, we're going to be using Sharpies. And at the front of the room, behind where I stand next to the board there, I have a series of Sharpies that we use. They have green tape on indicating that they came from this room, and they have to be returned at the end of the period. Okay? So what we're doing here for soldering is we're going to have, for our first soldering assignment, is we're going to be taking pieces that are 1 inch wide, and I'll pre-cut these to 1 inch, and you're just going to cut them to lengths then. So the 1 inch piece you're going to find is going to be in varying lengths. I didn't cut them to any size at this point yet. What you want to have is 2 4 inch pieces that are square on the end. So this is a table shears. Mucho cuidado no ponga las manos cerca la cuchilla cuando está en movimiento. So I don't think I'd say anything more about that. No, I'm kidding. It's just, this is the blade here, and when we step through this, it cuts the sheet metal from the right side to the left side. It's not a blade that's parallel with the tabletop. The blade in the back sits at an angle, much like a pair of scissors would. So when it bypasses the back of the table, it takes off anything that's beyond it. The guard that we have on here prevents your hands from getting too close to that blade. It's really be very difficult to cut yourself unless you're trying to catch the piece instead of allowing it to fall, and you put your hands in a real bad spot. That's why I'm cutting everything to 1 inch. It's easier for me to have that done and for you to do the 4 inches. So let's say I'm going to use these 2 pieces to cut 2 4 inch pieces from. Each of these measure just about 4 inches already. I mean, just a hair over 4 and not even an eighth. So what I want to do is I want to square one end and then cut the 4 inches. And because I don't have a lot of waste on here, I'm going to take off just a very little amount. If we look at table shears, we have a nice cast iron tabletop, and then we have a fence on here that has scale on it. So I'm going to bring this up to the front of the table, right in here. I can bring the camera up over top. And you can see when my piece goes out past the edge there, I want it just past the edge. And I'm going to make this cut. Now I'll bring it, flip it over, and cut it to 4 inches. And that's going to be square on both sides. And the same on the other one. Take just a very small amount off the one side, flip it, set it on the scale here to 4 inches, right where it says 4 inches right there. I'll bring it to the line and then cut that. So now I have 2 pieces of sheet stock, and this is cold rolled steel that I'm going to be soldering together, and we're going to make a T. So we want to be in the center of it and have that be where the 2 go together. So I want to make some marks on here also that I'll be able to see that I am centered on this, and then I also want to make sure that I am at a 90-degree angle.